All right, we ready?
Always ready.
Okay.
Am I doing the intro? Oh, he's yawning.
Yes. Yes, you are.
All right. 1, 2, 3.
I don't know why you're counting me down. Hi. This is your favorite podcast. It is This Is Gonna Get Stupid, and that's not even what it's called. It's Going to Get Stupid. I'm Holly.
And I'm Jose. I tried to hold it in so bad.
I don't know how we messed this up so bad.
It's great. It's great. Welcome to the podcast, everybody.
Oh my gosh.
I never want to intro this podcast again. This is too good. This is comedy gold.
What we need is a script. We need to set it down and
Really?
read from it.
Guys, come on. Okay.
I
You
don't
don't
think it
need
would
a
help.
script.
I don't think it would help.
It is the easiest. It's very simple to do. You just... Hi, welcome to Going to Get Stupid.
You've
My name's
messed up
Jose.
See, you just
again.
messed up. You can't even do
I
it.
stumbled my words. That's all.
That's all I did too, is stumble my words.
No, your train went off the tracks, Holly. I'm sorry.
How dare you, sir? How dare you?
Welcome to another episode of It's Going to Get Stupid, or This Is Gonna Get Stupid, or whatever you want to
Or
call the
good
podcast.
gets, it's going to get stupid.
Good
It's all stupid.
Stupid getting.
All I
Stupid
know is
getting
it's all stupid.
Stupid is as stupid does. Whatever you want to call it. It's whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
But if you put the email in wrong, it won't get to us. You could reach us at itsgoingtogetstupid@gmail.com.
You can tweet us at IGTGS Show.
You can go to Facebook /It's Going to Get Stupid and post something.
Isn't it
On our page.
Facebook.com/ It's Going to Get Stupid?
Sure, it could be whatever you want it to be.
Oh, it actually can't because you need the .com in there. That's,
Okay.
That's a top level domain, sir.
I'm just assuming that our viewers, our listeners, are highly intelligent people that understand my mumbo jumbo jargon.
You can find us on Instagram at It's Going to Get Stupid.
You could go to youtube.com. There you go. And search It's Going to Get Stupid podcast and listen to our previous episodes.
Yep.
And when this one goes on there, you can listen to that one too.
Yep. So I'm trying to post. I'm actually posting the recordings on YouTube for the last couple of episodes, and plan to keep that up. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 281-698-7043.
Awesome. So before we begin this show, we've already banned, but before we continue, I do want to say someone passed away recently, Sir Sean Connery.
Yes.
He was like 90 years old,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he had an amazing career. And I think the last movie he made was The League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. And he quit acting because of that movie. I probably would too, because that movie was pretty bad.
I've never seen it.
It was really bad.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, it was bad. And
He was
just,
the only good thing about the movie, just because I love him so much. But the movie as a whole was bad.
Yeah. I mean, I would watch it again because it wasn't like a terrible film.
It was
just
pretty
you
bad.
could tell it was like, he also turned down Gandalf in to be the architect in Matrix.
Ooh, he would have been
So-
an awesome Gandalf.
Or an architect.
Maybe he would have been a good architect. I don't know about Gandalf. I can't see anybody but.
Well, no, because Ian McKellen,
Sorry,
he
Ian.
was amazing. But I'm just saying, Sean if we didn't know about Ian McKellen being Gandalf and it was just Sean Connery,
Yeah.
I love him so much.
Possibly. But anyway, yeah. So he passed away, and I think that's we're gonna start getting into more of these from my childhood of awesome actors that I grew up watching pass away.
Yep.
Because you see all these other old actors, like when I was younger, all these actors pass. I'm like, I've never seen a movie with this person. I don't even care. Now I'm starting to care.
Wow. That's a little callous.
Is it?
I mean, all life is important, isn't it, Jose?
Yeah, but I don't care that they were an actor. I would care that they died, but whatever. It's not like I read the obituaries and be like, oh man, like I'm gonna be sad for the
You
rest of the day
don't?
now. No, is that what you do? Do you even read a newspaper? Or obituaries even in a newspaper? Do they put obituaries online now?
They do.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's creepy,
Yeah.
man. Anyway,
Like we're in Houston, and the Chronicle has a section for obituaries online.
oh man, I didn't even think about that because I don't
Yeah.
read the newspaper anymore because it's.
Because it's 2020. Oh no, did we? The newspaper people came after Jose.
Oh.
Okay, let's call him back. There he is. Okay, the newspaper
the
newspaper
yeah.
people came after you.
The Houston Chronicle heard and be like, shut him down, shut him off.
Well, I was also
Well,
commenting that we don't read the newspaper anymore because it's 2020.
Yes, that's also why would you read any news? It's 2020. It's always bad news.
This is very true.
I found a newspaper
So-
in the flower bed. I don't know how long it's been there.
Probably a long time. At one point, we did have a newspaper subscription.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did at this house.
Why?
I don't remember why.
I like how she says why. Like I didn't even know about this.
And I wasn't even working at the Chronicle at that point.
Did you get a free newspaper subscription when you worked for the newspaper?
No.
No.
That's lame, right?
No.
What's the point of working for a newspaper if you're not
um,
going to get free news?
They ask you, it's basically your way of investing into the organization.
Oh gosh, yeah, okay, I see. Did you ever run into the press room and say, "Stop the presses"?
No, sadly, I never went into the press room. Like I used to work at the old Chronicle building in downtown Houston, and we took a picture in the empty press room. That was really cool and creepy.
It was creepy.
But I never got to see the new modernized press room.
Oh man, I would have ran in there every day.
And
How did we get from Sean Connery to this? Like, what
you're
happened?
talking about obituaries?
Obituaries.
Really?
Yes.
And you talk about me going off the rails.
Well, I mean, it was in the intro. This is what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to get stupid eventually.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't really even talk about. I feel bad because we really didn't talk about Sean Connery. I just started talking about obituaries.
We did.
Well,
We did.
did we talk? Did we talk? Okay.
No, I'm just saying, like, we just went from Sean Connery to obituaries.
He'll
What was
be
your favorite?
missed.
What's your favorite Sean Connery film?
It's hard
You
to
The
say.
Rock, I swear.
So, no,
swear
I want
you
to
said
say
The
like
Rock.
the most memorable one I have, and it's probably not the best example of him, but I love this movie in general. Is Playing by Heart.
Oh, I love that movie
It's a really good movie. It has a really good ensemble cast,
with Angelina Jolie.
and it's just a really well written.
Oh,
film.
it does, yeah.
It's a really well written film. He doesn't play the best like moral character in that
No.
movie, because he's dying, and it's him and his wife are dealing with the fact that he had an affair, and a bunch of other things. But it's really well acted. I love that movie as a whole.
Well, it's got Gillian Anderson, Anthony Edwards, Angelina Jolie, Dennis Quaid,
Oh wow.
Patricia Clarkson,
A whole
Gina
90s
Rollins.
crew.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
yeah.
it's got a pretty big cast. Jon
Yeah.
Stewart. I mean, it's got a big cast, but it was a really good movie.
But then probably my favorite appearance of Sean Connery is at the end of Robin Hood.
Robin Hood.
Yeah.
Yes.
When he shows up,
King Richard Lionheart.
to marry them.
That's
Like,
pretty awesome.
Because you're watching the movie and you're like, it's okay. And then Sean Connery's the king. You're like, hello. Now this movie is worth it.
Yeah.
So good. It was a nice surprise.
It was.
I
It was a
liked
really nice surprise.
Yeah.
And even
that
as
was
a
that was
kid,
a great movie.
even as a kid, I appreciated that scene.
Yeah.
Where he showed up.
I think my favorite Sean Connery. I was gonna say
Darby O'Gill and
Indiana-
the Little People.
No, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade,
Yeah.
which is great.
That is a good one.
However,
yeah.
as I was thinking about that, I was like, oh man, wait a minute, The Untouchables.
Yeah.
He's really good in The Untouchables,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
So
Holly,
Yeah.
what's yours?
Oh, it would be Playing by Heart.
Yeah.
It was probably my favorite.
I've never seen this movie, so I guess I have to watch this
it's
movie
a
now, too.
really good movie.
It was.
It's
I
got
think it was.
Angelina Jolie, and I should watch it.
Well, and it has one of my favorite lines in it. I think it starts off with that line about talking about love is like dancing about architecture.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know. It's a very poetic line. Like the movie's just really well written and well acted.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I would definitely.
I
check
will
it
have
out.
to check that out.
Yeah.
Awesome. So today we are going to talk about Kevin Smith films. Because we talked about that last episode that we wanted to talk about, we make an episode about Kevin Smith films. Apparently, Richard hates Kevin Smith with a passion,
No, I don't.
almost as much as he hates Jason Momoa.
Ugh.
So it's gonna.
I will say this.
He just what he
the-
said was, "You're not as invested."
Well, it's so to me, like him and Wes Anderson are kind of in the same school of independent movies,
Wow.
And they're both amazing.
and
I don't even know how to dissect that statement you just made.
they both make independent films. They're both highly regarded for their commentaries that they make in their independent films. Correct? Like, aren't those two
No,
accurate
I don't. I
assumptions?
mean, maybe. I guess. I don't think
Like
so. As
Kevin Smith has an opinion about like the 90s, like kind of like growing up in that era and how it affects them as Gen Xers and things like that. Like that's kind of the basis of a lot of his movies. Wes Anderson kind of has that, but I feel like he almost appeals more to the millennial generation. And it's like a mixture of both, right? And so I feel like a lot of the statements that he makes in his movies are very poignant about that specific generation, just like Kevin Smith. They're I think they're in like opposite spectrums of that opinion, but I feel like both of them, that's what their movies are.
Wow, I just know that before we had this conversation, Rick was like, "Yeah, I'm not even that versatile. I can't even bring it to the table," and just dissected the whole man's career right there.
But all that to say, I'm not particularly fond of the way they express that opinion.
Of course not.
More so Wes Anderson.
Yeah, you hate. I'm sorry. Maybe you don't hate Kevin Smith. You do hate Wes Anderson.
I don't hate Wes Anderson.
Hate is maybe a strong word. Total dislike for. Never want to watch any movies. We'll burn them to the ground. Gotcha.
If I could choose between watching League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or another Wes Anderson movie, I'd probably choose to watch League of Extraordinary Gentlemen for the first time.
Wow, that is terrible. Why would you do that?
There we go.
Anyway,
Boom,
Kevin
roasted.
I'm sad. I'm just sad, and I don't share that opinion. So
I know Holly doesn't. It's okay.
Okay, so Kevin Smith made like Rick said, a independent film back in 1994 with his buddies, and it was called Clerks.
Yes.
And if you've never seen Clerks, I would watch it. I think it's a really great film, and it does express some of those things that Richard talked about 90s and growing up in that era and just different, just life in some little town in New Jersey, right? Red Banks, New Jersey.
Red Bank, yeah.
And it's basically just kind of a look into Kevin Smith's life, what he grew up and what he saw around his neighborhood. And I think it's really cool and a good snapshot. It was done in black and white, and it was done for $27,000. That's all it cost, and it made $3 million in the theaters.
It's a pretty good return at that time.
Well, and the funny thing is, like like his friend worked at the video store. I think he might have worked at the Quick Stop. But the thing is, they knew the owners, so they were like, "Hey, when you close down at night, can we film?" And they're like, "Yeah, okay." So they got the locations that way. That's why they put the "We're open" sign, because they had to cover that window because it was supposed to be filmed during the day. So they wanted you to think it was during the day when it was actually at night. So they had to cover that window with the blanket saying "We're open," just so they could pretend it was day when it was actually overnight when they were filming.
So are the scenes when they're outside like those are shot during the day, right?
Yeah, but anything that was interior, like when they were filming in the video store or the convenience store, that's all at night when the stores were closed, which they closed at like midnight. So they would film all night overnight and then shut down when they would open the next morning. And then, so it was like a really crazy schedule, but he really wanted to do it and he made it happen.
So I saw Clerks. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't in '94 because I was probably too young at that point. But a few years after that, I saw it. I'm pretty sure.
Jose and I were 12.
I don't even want to talk about
12.
it.
I was 12 years old. I probably saw it maybe 3 years later, when I was 15, when I was a teenager. But I don't know. It's a simple film. It's nothing like major spectacular. I think the thing that Kevin Smith does very well, similar to Tarantino, which is another Rick favorite, is dialogue and just the interaction between people. And it's interesting to have the two, because it's a buddy film, right? It's about this guy that works at the convenience store and his buddy who is just a complete moron who works at the video store, in their relationship and the stuff that they go into. And I don't know, I just like the building of their friendship to the point where, he gets mad. Honestly, Rick, it reminds me of you and I'm definitely Randall and you are Dante. So it reminds me of that.
I don't remember the characters well enough to know.
Randall worked at the video store.
Randall worked at the video store, and he was a complete idiot and did not care about Dante's feelings at all about anything, and got him into all these hijinks. So you see,
Yep.
It reminds me of you and me, but just that friendship they had and how, they both had to mature over this one day, basically, of all this stuff happening. So,
My favorite part is when Randall's at the video store and someone calls in and he picks up the phone and it was a little like they're looking for a child movie and he like runs down entire like list of things that have that word in the title and they're all like adult movies, like porn movies. And so it's like, but he's talking to like a parent about children's movies and it was classic. I mean,
yeah.
I think the whole thing it's just like a snapshot into it, like just like their life for that week. I mean, nothing really spectacular happened. There was no like, I don't know. It was just like basically just you were just a voyeur. You're just watching their life happen. So there wasn't really anything spectacular about it, but it was just so like they were just so weird. Like you.
Well, there's a lot of weird. There's a lot of weird things that happen in the convenience store, but they're realistic. Like the lady that's checking all the dates on the milk, and the guy that's like testing on the eggs and doing all this crazy stuff, and people coming in and saying, you want me to drink this coffee hot?" It was just stuff like that. It was just interesting how they handled things and the way, and through these interactions, providing commentary on society.
Hey Jose,
Like
we're gonna call you right back because you're
garbled
garbled
again.
again.
Garbled again?
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is terrible.
Okay. Hold on.
Technical difficulties.
Okay,
are you back?
It's the Chronicle. Am I garbled?
No, you're fine now.
But all of those things that happened, those were actually real things that happened in the store that they had stories about. So it wasn't like they were like, I mean, those were things that they experienced from customers that were real things, like the woman who rolled all the eggs and drinking. Like it was like those were actual people. I mean, the actors weren't the people, but the things that happened actually were things that were witnessed. So I think that was really funny that they had customers like that were just cuckoo.
Yeah. So, critical success, commercial success, in terms of they got their return on investment.
Sure.
So then Universal, they, got with them to make Mallrats, which is the next movie they made in '95. And apparently it takes a place the day before. And so yeah, I don't know. So the two, and we didn't even mention the two Jay and Silent Bob characters who, Silent Bob is played by Kevin Smith and Jay is played by Jason Mewes, Kevin Smith's friend, who's also a drug dealer in real life, or was a drug dealer in real life. And so they're basically two drug dealers that hang outside the store. And so when Mallrats comes along, it's really about these two guys, slacker guys again, but it's also about Jay and Silent Bob take a more prominent feature in this movie. Did you watch Mallrats too, Holly?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Holly's seen them all. I think Mallrats might have actually been the first film I saw.
Well, and see, that's unfortunate because the problem is just like anybody that releases an indie film and it gets like, oh, wow, let's give you some money. They have to do a lot of things that the studio wants them to do. So, I mean, Kevin Smith has said like he did not want to cast Shannon Doherty. He did not want to do, there were so many things that he didn't want to do, but they wanted it to be more commercial type movie.
Yeah, they wanted it to be bigger. They wanted it to be splashier with different people. Get some hot upcoming young actors to be in it.
Yeah.
And he wants to work with his buddies, his friends, right?
Right.
This is also the introduction of Ben Affleck into Kevin Smith films.
And Jason Lee, right?
And Jason Lee,
yeah. Jason Lee.
And Ethan Suplee, yeah.
In a great role.
Yeah.
As the villain. Ben Affleck plays a great villain, by the way. Just like a cocky, he's like one of those '90s villains for sure.
Yeah.
And so if you've never seen Mallrats is about these two guys one guy who gets dumped by his girlfriend before they go on this big trip. He's like a neurotic kind of guy. And then his buddy, Brody, is just a lovable loser, comic book video game playing. He's like a guy under my own soul. Like we were soul brothers. We're connected. Because he likes comic books and movies and does not care about people's feelings. That's me. And so anyway, he decides to try to cheer him up by going to the mall, and they get into a bunch of shenanigans at the mall. And it's simple. It's not, but they try to make it like bigger than Clerks. I like Mallrats a lot.
I actually enjoyed it.
More so after I watched it with the commentary. between Kevin Smith and everybody. I
Oh
really liked
man.
because he talked about a lot of the stuff, how the studio chose this over that and made them make different choices, and that made me understand the movie a lot more.
You
So I wasn't
know,
as frustrated.
with Kevin Smith and Jason Mewes, like all of, and I'm sure they don't do it much anymore, but like all of those earlier movies, when they did the commentary, it was the best. I mean, it was actually preferable to the movie sometimes because it was just so amazing, the commentary that they gave over the movie, and I miss it. But it was really funny.
Yeah. Also, Stan Lee was in the movie.
Yes, he was.
I loved all this stuff. So there's a scene. It's one of my favorite scenes in movies is when Brody meets Stan Lee, and Stan Lee's trying to help him get back together with his girlfriend Shannon Doherty and kind of put him on this path, whatever. And Brody only cares about talking about like superhero sex things. It's the funniest thing ever. And he's like asking Stan Lee, Stan Lee, like this revered comic book creator, and here's this dude asking him like, is the Hulk's thing green? Does Mr. Fantastic does everywhere stretch stuff like that? I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. But just some of the commentary that he had about superheroes and things like that was interesting.
Which also like ties in like one of the best Marvel Easter eggs of Captain Marvel, where Stan Lee is since Captain Marvel takes place in the 90s, Stan Lee is on one of the trains in Los Angeles reading the script from Mallrats.
Yeah, that was good, man.
Yeah,
that was really cool. So it all culminates into them like trying to win their respective girlfriends back in different ways, and it's just crap. But it's like a lot of the humor is crass. This is where you get the stink palm from.
Yeah,
I don't know if anybody knows what that
Yeah.
is, but that's like one of the grossest scenes ever.
Yeah. So good.
So it's interesting because you go from Clerks, which is just like a really cool look and slice in Americana, to this kind of over the top different kind of slice in Mallrats, and a little bit like non-realistic, right? Like Clerks, I could like, okay, that makes sense. Mallrats was very like goofy in a way. And then
but then it's Chasing
you don't
Amy.
think so?
Chasing Amy, which Rick hates, and I
hate Chasing
love
Amy.
it.
So why do you hate
Why
Chasing
do you
Amy?
hate
Rick?
it so
I'm
much?
trying to remember, but
you didn't like their relationship.
I didn't. I did not like the relationship. I didn't think that the character. I didn't think Amy was
redeemable.
Was redeemable. Like I don't. There was something about like the way they set up the story. Like I don't think Amy was worth like all the trouble that Holden, like all the trouble he went through to have her be a part of his life and to really pursue her. Like, and there's a lot of things that happen in the character that get revealed that I won't say on the podcast because I feel like they're inappropriate. But I just like the thing that really like sticks with me, and like this is why like I don't like Arrested Development or like the Royal Tannenbaums, when you have characters that I don't feel are redeemable or are just like bad people.
Yes.
And for me, that was Amy. Like she wasn't that great of a person, but Holden wasn't that great of a person either, right? And so maybe that's why they deserve each other.
Was he not great of a person? I mean, so do you think Amy is not great because she was not being fully honest with him?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, and so,
but like, isn't that normal though? Like, isn't that normal though? That's what I liked about it. Though.
I felt like it was an extreme. I felt like it was just an extreme to make like this character like something that he pined after, but like she was really kind of detestable in the way that she kind of treated their relationship. And I'm trying to remember this. I'm trying to go off of memory from this.
So if go ahead.
No, anyways, yeah. I didn't care for their relationship.
So if you've never seen Chasing Amy is a romantic comedy by Kevin Smith. It takes place. It's the one that comes after Mallrats, but it has nothing to do with Mallrats. And Ben Affleck and Jason Lee play two friends who are working on a comic book. It's called Blunt Man and Chronic. So there you go.
Which is basically Jay and Silent Bob.
Jay and Silent Bob in comic book form. And he meets this woman, Amy, and he just thinks she's amazing, finds out that she's a lesbian. It's like, oh, well, never mind, it's never going to happen. But after kind of things and circumstances happen, they start dating. And he's thinking, oh, I'm the first guy, so it's all special. But when her past gets revealed, you realize that things aren't as they seem. And then they go through all these relationship drama problems, and then it ends in a way that I didn't think it was going to end, which I probably why I like it too, because it's not just take me back and that's it, we figured it out.
Right.
It ends in some weird way where Holden is just a creepo dude and tries to do something really creepy with everybody.
Yeah.
And kind of ruins all of his relationships.
Yeah.
In one fell swoop. So I don't know. I think that's what I like movies that subvert your expectations of things. And I like how Kevin Smith did that in here. And I would agree that, I don't know if they're irredeemable, because I do watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Sure.
And those characters are definitely irredeemable.
Yeah.
And in fact, so I tell my friends, I was like, I can only watch one or two of those episodes before I have to take like a month break from watching that show. It's that bad. Like, there's nothing redeemable about any of those characters, and they make me like skeezy, and so I can't watch more than one or two episodes.
Yeah.
But they weren't so bad in Chasing Amy. I did like what he did with it, but I can understand how they're not the best characters like to root behind.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. Like, I like at the end of it, I was like, okay, like these people kind of deserve to be in anguish. I don't know.
Wow.
It just it didn't. There was nothing like I could really root for out of any of their stories.
I like how Jason Lee played Banky.
Yeah.
But, he was Brody. This one he's Banky because he's a totally different character. But then I think it's Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. He plays both characters.
He does play both of them, yeah.
He plays, so, I mean, it's like, even though they're playing different characters, he's still... But I think this was... because Mallrats didn't... I think they expected more from it, and it didn't happen. So I think this was Kevin Smith kind of taking control back a little bit.
Was this is Spider-Man 3?
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of took it back and kind of went with it, what he, like, kind of the direction he wanted to go with it.
Yeah.
But I think he was trying to try his hand at maybe making something a little more for the masses, but not fully like controlled by the studio.
See, and maybe like I can kind of see that perspective, but I feel like the story that he wrote, because I think he wrote this one too, didn't
right,
he?
yeah, he writes them all.
The story he wrote is not for the masses by any means.
I would agree.
No, but I think
the way he filmed it and the way it was portrayed was probably meant for the masses, but I think ultimately the story that he developed is not a consumable product at the end of it. And again, I didn't see this in the theater. I saw this after you and I think we were married, or we were dating,
and I made you watch it,
and you made me watch it,
and at the end he was like, "Why did you make me watch this?"
Yeah. And so like, I'll just say this. If this was his attempt to like make a movie that maybe made people uncomfortable to where like they would kind of like back off of his contract, kind of like what Sam Raimi did with like Spider-Man 3, basically just to get out of his contract, don't do that. Like, if you're a director, don't do that, because you're only doing a disservice to the fans that have actually invested time and money into watching this movie.
But I did enjoy the movie.
Yeah, I don't think that was his deal. I think he was trying to take back control from like the Mallrats thing and just make something he wanted to. Yeah. Okay, 3 things. He was dating Joy Lauren Adams when he wrote this.
Okay.
Yes.
So it was partly inspired by her. I don't know what that means, but that's what it says. But I knew he was dating her.
Yeah.
2, the scene where they're comparing scars
is hilarious.
Great.
It's
so
hilarious.
Great. And then there's a scene. Oh, and then every time Banksy is like talking about he's an inker, so it's like, so you just copy the lines, right?
It's like you're a tracer.
Yeah. You're a tracer. You're a tracer.
Yeah.
It's so good. It's stuff like, I mean, it's all that's what I like about Kevin Smith's when he just hits stuff like perfectly, and he gets some nostalgia, like with the Jaws throwback. He does a lot of throwbacks and things like that.
Yeah.
But I can see how this is a movie that either you like it or you don't.
Yes.
There's no people that watch it and be like, oh, I'm okay. It's like people are like, I really don't like that movie. And I've heard from a lot of people they do not like this movie at all.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, Kevin Smith is a fan. He is a fan of comics, of movies. I mean, he's a fan. So he brings that into his... I mean, he brings a lot of, like, nerd stuff into his movies because that's what he enjoys. So he's basically making stuff that he wants to watch.
Agreed.
And so you're going to either like it or not.
But I would challenge that this is the only movie that's like this.
Yeah,
from a
but
subject matter perspective.
right, but I mean, this came right on the heels of Mallrats, so
I don't know, man.
That was weird.
I
You got
I
really
think,
close to the mic.
I think Jersey Girl's a little close to that too.
But okay, but Jersey Girl was more consumable.
People hated Jersey Girl, so I don't know.
Well,
Man.
but I think so I will say I think that speaks to the fact that maybe he can't. Maybe this is a genre that just doesn't work well for him.
Yeah, you know what, I would agree there, because he doesn't want to tell a romantic comedy in the way romantic comedies are consumed by people.
Right.
He wants to tell his own style. So
Right.
I don't even know if it's necessarily a romantic comedy, but a Kevin Smith romantic comedy.
I think it gets labeled as a romantic comedy, and that probably does it a disservice. It should just be seen as a Kevin Smith film, and that way you don't have the expectations that it's actually about a relationship.
So you're saying he should have his own genre. Gotcha. Cool. I like that. So the next film that comes out
Dogma
is Dogma.
Love it.
And I love this. I would say it's top 3 Kevin Smith films. I love this movie.
Yeah.
Rick, do you like Dogma?
Yeah, I would say out of all of them, this would probably be my favorite.
Okay, so first off, Alan Rickman is in this movie.
Yes.
As a Metatron, and there's also a lot of big names in this film.
Chris
First,
Rock
you have Ben
is in this movie
Affleck,
George
too.
Carlin.
Chris Rock.
Yeah.
So the premise of Dogma is basically this woman has been sent on a mission by Metatron, the voice of God, to stop 2 angels. And I love explaining this movie to people, by the way. Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, from entering a church, so that after they become human, it kind of ends the world or something like that. I mean, I don't mean it like I know exactly what happens in this movie, but it kind of it ends the world, and so she's on a mission to stop them from ending the world. And along the way, she meets the 13th Apostle, Chris Rock,
Yes.
2 prophets, Jay and Silent Bob,
Yes.
and a demon played by Jason Lee, which is amazing. He does such a good job.
Yeah.
And a muse, Selma Hayek as the muse.
Yeah.
So there's so many. There's so many great parts in this movie. I as a Christian, I will say that I probably like this movie even more so because I know that part of this is that Kevin Smith grew up Catholic, and so a lot of this is him trying to work through his religion faith in writing this movie. Which I think is pretty cool, and a lot of things they say in this movie are very true and make me wonder about the Catholic Church.
Yeah.
Like why would you even have a rule that if somebody walks through the church at a certain centennial that they're absolved immediately of all sins, period, without doing anything? It's just kind of like that's one of the ways to do it. It's just kind of weird.
Wasn't the main character supposed to be played by somebody else?
No, Linda Fiorentino or whatever her name is. Like she had just finished that movie. What was it, Jade?
Yes,
and so
that's
the
right.
studio, apparently that was a really big one. So the studio really pushed for her and they didn't want her. And so they cast her as Bethany and they regretted it. Well, Kevin Smith regretted it. He wanted Janine Garofalo to play Bethany because he thought, so he gave her another role, but he really thought she would just be really funny and amazing. But they cast Linda, whatever her last name is. And
Fiorentino.
she was very, like, she didn't really get what they were doing, and she just kind of, he said she was kind of a bummer, and so that was his one big regret.
She seemed like a bummer in the movie.
Yeah, but he really wanted Janine Garofalo to play that role because he just thought she was hilarious, and he thought she would just do the role justice, and so the studio really pushed for her, and he was like, he didn't really have much voice, so he had to do it. But because again, this was like Mallrats didn't do as well, so we got Chasing Amy. Chasing Amy did better than they thought it was, so they're like, okay, well, let's do Dogma. And so the studio really had a lot of more control again. So he had more say, but they still had enough say to push for main characters.
Wasn't the name of the golden calf Movie?
Movie, yeah.
It
was Movie.
Yeah.
They actually changed the Bethany. They changed the writing to better fit Fiorentino, probably to make her less funny. That's terrible. That's the worst.
Well, I
don't remember Janine Garofalo in this movie.
She was like,
she's in it very
no,
briefly.
she was Bethany's coworker.
And
she was like,
right, okay,
smoking in coffee, and so she was just like
in the abortion clinic.
She was a very small role, but that's who they wanted to play Bethany.
Yeah.
Of course, there was a lot of uproar about the movie
Of course.
from the Catholic Church,
From all religions, I
from all
think.
religions. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. But I think it's a fun movie. It's just an interesting. It's well acted, well done. Ben Affleck as Ben Affleck and Matt Damon as the two angels
Bartleby and Loki.
Bartleby and Loki. That one scene where they go to the headquarters of
Yeah.
Mubi, and he's reading off their offenses and everything, and kill. It's just so great, man. And then there's the one lady that's left, and he's like, what Matt Damon goes, he goes, "It's okay, you're fine, you're a pure heart, it's okay." He's like, "But you didn't say God bless you when I sneezed."
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just that one makes me laugh the most.
Yeah.
I think it's a good, like height of his commercial success.
And that's what I would say about it. I think it's probably his most well done movie.
Yeah.
Like from just like an execution standpoint, the writing, the acting outside of the main character, which I mean, for all intent and purposes, like she was fine. I just think that Janine Garofalo probably could have done it better.
Right.
I think it would have fit in more with the aesthetic of what they were going for.
Exactly.
And what they wanted to say.
But I think overall, it's probably his most well done film.
And it gave us
actually,
Buddy Christ.
It did give us Buddy Christ, and George Carlin was in it. You always want George Carlin in it. So, and also think one thing is that because they had her as that kind of like reluctant person, because she's probably reluctant as an actress, it made it even better. Because like you see some kind of, upturn in her character.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going through these very slowly, but that's okay. The next movie is Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Which was so very stupid, but
it is so stupid. I don't know why I like this movie, and it brings like he's got all the the cast is so big, like everybody's in here. George Carlin, there's all these people, like they bring everyone
Mark
back.
Hamill.
Yeah, everyone's Mark Hamill's in it. There's all these people that are in, all these actors, and this is his like. While Dogma's a commercial in critical success, I think this is the biggest like commercial. Like it was just like. So many people were in this film, but it was just so dumb. It's a dumb film, man. So, I like it, but it's just dumb.
Do you think that this is the movie like maybe he wanted to make like the entire time? Like I know it's probably not his best, but to me it almost seems the most Kevin Smithy.
This is what he likes making.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like it's complete nonsense. You have the cat burglars.
The Diamond Thieves.
The Diamond Thieves. You have like,
and this is the first time his wife got to be in one of his movies. Right. She probably hated it.
So I feel like this is probably like his grand opus as far as like it's not like the best movie he's ever made, but it's probably the one that he probably I would say that he might really loved
like
making.
Just like really cherish. Yeah, I think he really liked making it
because like Clerks is like him taking a chance, right? He's like, I got this story, no one knows who I am, I'm gonna try to make this movie and see what happens, right? And then every other movie is either like, okay, you did really good, let's put some money in you and some investment, which means you lose a little control, and let's do this. By the time you get to like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, it's like he's wealthy enough to do what he wants. At this point, with all the other movies that he's made and all the other like licensing he's done, let's also not forget there was a Clerks cartoon,
which was awesome.
It was a Clerks cartoon. It was really good. I was so excited about that, and man, it just didn't go anywhere, man.
I actually have magnets from that cartoon.
Man, it was good. It was good.
And so I would say like this movie is where he just got to do what he wanted.
Oh, he got everybody. He like anybody, like Carrie Fisher was in a Mark Hamill, like anybody he wanted, he was like, be in this movie.
Yeah, I think this is Kevin Smith crescendo of relevance in Hollywood. Like, I mean, as in top, like, people will. I want to be in your film. I want to do it. Exactly. Yeah, this is a hot ticket.
People knew who he was, knew what his opinion was, and just like he could do it.
So then we go into Jersey Girl. Yeah. Because I'm not even going to explain Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back because it's a crazy thing. It's completely nonsensical. Yeah. So I've only watched Jersey Girl once.
I've seen it a couple of times.
It was okay.
Again, it's a genre that I don't think he does extremely well in. This also was during the time when Ben Affleck was dating Jennifer Lopez. Yeah. And she had to be in the movie. Yes. Either was it Ben Affleck's request that she had to be in the movie at some point?
Yeah, I think so.
But only to, spoiler alert, she dies within the first 5 minutes.
Whoa.
She dies giving birth to their daughter.
And like I think it's in the credits, isn't it? I don't know.
I like it's very much like how
Dude.
Up. Like
Okay,
like
hold
it,
on.
like
Stop
with,
the presses. Stop the presses. Do you know how much money Jennifer Lopez got paid
I'm
for this
sure it was a
movie?
lot of money.
For a 2-minute role?
Okay,
How
I'll tell you
much?
this. Ben Affleck got $10 million.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So how much you think Jennifer Lopez got?
15.
12 million.
Huh?
12
You said
million.
15 million? No, she got $4 million.
Yeah.
For 5
$4
minutes?
million.
She was in it for like 5 minutes.
Yes.
That's
So
crazy.
really, Ben Affleck got $14 million. Got it. Cool.
Good
Okay,
grief.
gotcha. I mean, you know what? I'm gonna say this: the best thing about this film is the little girl.
Yes.
Oh, she was great.
She's amazing.
Yeah.
She's amazing in the film.
Yeah.
Other than that, everything else is it was okay. It was okay.
It's an okay film. It's an okay
yeah.
movie. It's not great. It's not groundbreaking. Again, it's a romantic comedy, and I don't think he does them super well.
Well, and
no.
also Ben Affleck is not the most like romantic male counterpart.
Zero
Like,
chemistry.
He's
Zero chemistry.
He's not. I don't know.
If you would have put Matt Damon in the role, then you're talking about something. Yeah, he's got chemistry.
I'm just saying.
Have you ever seen Good Will Hunting? Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, Ben Affleck is not known to be the most, like, he doesn't do romantic very well.
No.
Like, in movies.
No.
Okay.
He
So then
just
the next film is Clerks 2.
doesn't.
Which I waited for a
I never
long
saw
time,
it.
and I was super jazzed up about it. And okay, I will say this: it is an okay film.
Yeah,
Like
it's okay.
in terms of like, it's kind of like Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Okay,
Yeah, it
so
is.
it doesn't have the same as Clerks, the original Clerks. And it's way more like in your face humor and racist humor and just kind of things. I'm just like,
It's
okay,
dirty. Yeah, it's dirty.
It's dirty, and but it's not like because Mara, I'm not Mara. Clerks was dirty in a way, right? There's some kind of dirty parts, but this is just more over the top and just like gross you out, kind of dirty and
Yeah.
like it. I don't even want to. I'm not even gonna say it. Just
Yeah.
read the freaking Wikipedia about it. And so I was like, okay, this is weird. Like this is the downhill part of him being not as a director or anything, but just him being like desired in the.
Did he have
in Hollywood.
Did he have his heart attack shortly after that?
It was after that. It was
It was
way
after.
that.
Okay.
That was only like a couple years ago.
I think it was after. Wasn't it after Cop Out? Anyway, so the next film he makes is Zack and Mary. Let's just say Zack and Mary.
Yeah. Never saw it.
and-
Yeah, we didn't see that one.
Yeah, it was. I mean, again, it's just like Clerks 2. Honestly, it was like, okay, what is this going on?
So
The same kind of.
I think during this time, like when both of these movies came out, it's when we entered this time in it's early 2000s, right?
2008.
Yep.
Yeah.
So movies like these comedy movies were raunchy for raunchy's sake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even like just
Yeah,
the premise.
You're talking about
behind
Van Wilder and stuff, and
it. Well, in like Knocked Up.
post American Pie.
Yeah. Like they were just like American Pie was like high school raunchiness, right?
But it was. Would you agree that it wasn't necessarily raunchy for raunchy's sake?
No.
It was a part of the storyline
So
in American Pie 1.
the very first one, that's accurate. Any of
Yeah.
them after that,
Oh,
it's
we're
just
definitely
raunchy for
raunchy's
raunchy's
yeah,
sake.
raunchy's sake.
and I feel like
American Wedding wasn't so bad.
and I feel like all these movies that came out around, like a lot of the comedy movies, like you have like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, Knocked Up, Clerks 2, Zack and Miri, like
They
they're
were really
just-
obsessed with like male frontal nudity for some reason.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
like, okay, what is happening?
and it's just a weird era of like comedy.
Yeah.
And it's so weird because in this movie you have Seth Rogen, Liz
Yeah.
Banks,
Yeah.
Craig Robinson. So you have some people that are like, oh man, okay, this might be something good. And it wasn't that it was like terrible. It was just kind of like, why do I want to watch this?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's how I felt about it. I'm sure people like this movie, but I don't. As far as like a Kevin Smith film, I was like, I don't really want to watch this
Yeah.
movie. I like him for other stuff. Okay, so then we go to Cop Out, which I have actually never seen.
Which one is Cop Out?
With the one with Bruce.
Oh, we're losing Jose again. The Chronicle's coming after you. You said it's the one with.
What? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you. The one with
Okay.
Bruce Willis.
He did a movie
Yeah.
with Bruce Willis.
Yeah. And this is where it all went downhill because he said that Bruce Willis was a jerk on the film and made it work. It was Tracy Morgan and Bruce Willis.
I don't even remember this movie.
Did you watch this movie, Holly?
No.
So this is the one he didn't write. He directed it but didn't write it, and it's about cops. So we're gonna skip it because I heard it was terrible and I've never seen it. I need to watch Cop Out.
Yeah.
Then he did Red State.
I never saw that either.
I've been telling you forever to watch Red State.
Yeah. Did you ever see Red State? Yeah.
Well, we're
I think
married at this. Like at this point,
Yeah.
we would have seen the same
Yeah.
movies.
So Red State is a movie about. It's kind of like basically a Waco, Branch Davidian kind of situation, right?
Okay.
They're highly religious people, but they stockpiling guns. They kidnap these 3 guys and hold them hostage. The FBI comes in. John Goodman, after being slimmed down, is one of the FBI guys. I thought this was a really, really good film. They say it's like a horror. It's not horror, but it's just definitely like a interesting just take. The way that the characters are very fleshed out, very well done, tense, and you can really just feel the terror the people are feeling in a way. So it's got that intensity in it. But basically, at the end of it, the ATF's supposed to storm it, whatever. Something happened. I'm not going to tell the ending because it's. But I thought this was like a return of Kevin Smith when I saw this, because I heard it was coming out, and at this point after Cop Out, I'd never watched Cop Out, so I was like, I'm kind of done with Kevin Smith films now because he's just he's gonna make gross stuff or silly stuff that I don't care about. But I saw this and it was really interesting and seemed kind of like more realistic. And then I watched it and I was like, wow, this is really well done. And it wasn't anything like he's ever done before, though. Right? Totally different kind of movie because it's not a comedy. It's just a thriller film.
Okay.
And so I would, if you have not seen it, guys, you need to watch. Just watch it. Just tell me whether I'm wrong. If you think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Well, I think that was his. I think that was his time to see if he had something in him other than just
something else to tell.
Jay and Silent Bob. Like a story to tell. Like is he capable of doing it? So
yeah, I think in this whole time period we're talking about with these movies after Cop Out, it was another one where the studio controlled it, and he was like, okay, I'm gonna be done with the studios. I'm just gonna do stuff that I want to do. So then he made Tusk. And I heard this movie is terrible.
I have not
Was
seen
that his own?
Tusk.
Was that his own movie?
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, it's his own movie, and it has Justin Long in it as a guy who goes to visit this one dude and to interview him for a podcast, and this guy basically turns him into a walrus.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a what is that, Human Centipede-ish kind of goofy, but not exactly like that.
Yeah.
But I just never wanted to see it.
Oh my gosh, I'm looking at these pictures.
Yeah,
That's
it
terrible.
looks weird, and I don't know. I think he's got this kind of horror thing going on where he wants to make these horror films. I think he's just trying stuff out, honestly, which I don't fault the guy. Like, go ahead and try things out. You might as well.
Yeah.
And this is also his, because Red State was released only like download, like it wasn't even put in the theaters. So this one was put in the theaters, and it was his first major release since Cop Out, of course. So I think he just kind of wanted to do different things. Then the last 2 movies ago was Yoga Hosers, another horror film, which I've never seen this movie, but it has his daughter, his daughter's name is Harley Quinn.
Yep.
And Johnny Depp's daughter, Lily Rose, also in this film. I don't know what this movie is about, and I don't really care. But it is a horror film with those 2 girls probably like fighting off something. I don't know.
Yeah, they're like fighting evil, but it looked like I saw the trailer and I'm like, wow, this looks really dumb. And, at this point in my life, like when you have children, it's like I don't have time to waste on because before kids, we watched a lot of dumb movies, but there comes a point where it's like, I don't have a time to waste 2 hours on this. I don't.
Well, now we're in like children and pandemic. So like
choose, I really got to pick what I watch.
Yeah, like you're really gonna pick and choose what you're gonna watch. I mean, we've all gotten I think that first phase of the pandemic, we're just watching whatever, which is why Tiger King was so successful. But now it's just like, okay, like now I need to be like more thoughtful about what I'm choosing to rent.
But I think he wrote this for his daughter just to give her. It was just a fun. Like her and her friend battle evil, and I think it was sure honey, I'll write this movie for you.
Yeah,
I don't think he really cared if it was going to be successful or not. I think he just really wanted to have this project with his daughter.
So then they made a movie called Jay and Silent Bob Reboot.
We never saw
And
that.
I watched this movie because I'm like, okay, he's back into, it's
Yeah.
basically, he even described it as literally the same effing movie all over again.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I gotta watch what he does, just to check it out. So I think Julie was out of town. I think everybody was out of town, because I remember being here by myself. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this movie.
Yeah.
Maybe some kids were asleep. I don't know, but I watched it in my room, and it was okay. It wasn't bad. It was a good closing to the. I think he's closed the universe now.
Yeah.
Which I hope so. But I think it's kind of like a bookend to Clerks, and just kind of encapsulating everything.
But if you look at his IMDb, there's Clerks 3 that's been announced.
Is really? I don't know. We haven't. We'll see. I sure hope not.
It's been announced.
Oh gosh. Okay. Well, it's not then. I can't even remember the other movie. But you know what I will tell you about the Jay and Silent Bob reboot? It's not very memorable.
Okay.
Because it still didn't capture the same, because we talked about those, because we zipped through all these other movies, right? Because they weren't as impactful as those first 5 movies.
No, like once you get past Dogma, it's
no, I'd even say Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, because while I didn't it wasn't like the greatest movie ever. It stuck with me. I still remember things from that movie.
Yeah.
The silly name of Mark Hamill's character, the villain guy, the orangutan at the end. I just remember these things from that movie.
Yep.
I don't remember anything from Jay and Silent Bob Strike Reboot. I was reading it right now, and apparently the name of Jay's daughter in there is Millennium Falcon. Like FAU.
Good grief.
That's her full name. Anyway, yeah. So it's just silly stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But that was like a year after his heart attack, so I think he was, I don't know.
Nostalgic?
Yeah, I think it was I'm just gonna bring everybody back. We're gonna make this movie, and then I'm just gonna do it. And
that's true. Yeah, because in 2018 he had that heart attack. So
which really scared him, and he lost a ton of weight, and he made a lot of changes he made a lot of changes in his life. So I think it was just more of a, you know what, life's short. Let's just bring everybody back and do something really stupid.
Like, I think you can consider him like an ascended vegan at this point. So yeah.
But I do. I like Kevin Smith. He's not for everyone, but I don't know. I think I really appreciate that he's a fan. He's a fan of the nerdy stuff, and he really I don't know. He's not. He doesn't throw a bunch of stuff because it's popular at the moment. I mean, he just really makes a lot of things just because he enjoys it.
So I will say this: out of the 3 of us, Holly is the only true Gen Xer. Right.
That's true.
Yes. Call me old.
No. But Jose and I are in that elder millennial generation where we have like a little bit of Gen X, but mostly millennial.
You're a millennial.
Us, right?
Yeah.
I would say Jose is probably a little bit more, well, maybe you're a little bit more Gen X than I am.
I don't know about that.
As far as like your movie taste. As far as like your movie taste.
Okay. Maybe.
I don't. Anyways.
Because are you saying I like old movies?
Yeah, duh.
Like Mystery Men?
Yes.
Okay. Is that okay? Yeah. That. Do you like Mystery Men, Holly?
I love Mystery Men.
Okay, then that makes sense. Okay. Yes, you're right. You're correct.
Okay. I think Kevin Smith.
We could have a whole podcast about Mystery Men.
I will check out.
I'm the waffler.
I do appreciate that line, but this is also the reason why, like, I don't know. Anyways, I think Kevin Smith speaks a lot to the Gen X generation. Yeah, like from his content and from his movies. I think a lot of the movies that came out during that era, like Mystery Men, also kind of speak to that generation.
But Rick, you just said that Wes Anderson speaks to the millennial generation, and you don't like him either. Rick, what director other than Christopher Nolan speaks to you?
Yeah, what do you like?
I don't know, guys. Like, this is like, we don't have time to go to the identity politics that I have running through my head. No. I think Wes Anderson speaks to the millennial, like the younger millennial generation. Well, no, he speaks to like Gen X, to like all the millennial generations for some reason. I just think he's obnoxious. I said it.
Fair. Fair. That's okay. So
I used to really like Rushmore. Like, Rushmore was one of my favorite films for the longest time. It still has one of like my favorite comedy lines where she's like, he goes, "Oh, I'm an OR nurse," and he goes,
"Those are RR strokes."
Oh, are you?
Are you?
Yeah, man, it was great.
That's great. But then I think when I saw Rushmore, then you have like other movies like Igby Goes Down, where like there was these like
Oh.
really obnoxious white kids that were telling these really obnoxious stories that just did not resonate with me.
Okay.
That's fair.
But well, those are two different kind of movies. But yes, we can get to your identity.
I don't think
later.
Rushmore and Igby Goes Down are two very different kind of movies.
Very
I think they're very
different films.
similar.
They're very different.
Very different
I don't-
films. It's okay. It's okay, Rick. It's shh.
Whatever.
Shh.
Whatever.
Y'all, did we? So, one last thing about Kevin Smith. If you've never seen any of his Q&A, like his question and answer sessions that he does, they're on video. There's like an Evening with Kevin Smith, Evening Harder. He tells some of the greatest stories in Hollywood.
Yeah.
The one about Steve, I think it's Steve Soderbergh. Maybe I'm wrong, but basically when they were going to make Superman, and he wanted this big spider in the movie, and Kevin Smith was like, no, that doesn't make any sense. Well, then the next movie that guy made was Wild Wild West, and it had a giant spider in it. So I just think it's funny, like the way that he talks about things sometimes.
Yeah.
But anyway, did we miss something, y'all? Did we something that Kevin? Obviously, we probably did. But tell us your Kevin Smith stories. What you like about it? Maybe you don't like it, like Rick. That's fine. Let him know. He'll probably be elated that you don't like Kevin Smith. You can reach us at itsgoingtogetstupid@gmail.com.
Let's be honest. I'll probably say you don't like it for the wrong reasons. You can tweet us at IGTGS Show.
You can hit us up on Facebook, facebook.com/itsgoingtogetstupid.
You can find us on Instagram at It's Going to Get Stupid.
You can go to youtube.com/ no slash yet. Sorry. You can search It's Going to Get Stupid podcast and find our old episodes.
Look, we need 91 more of you to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that we can actually get a /channel/ It's Going to Get Stupid. And lastly, you can leave us a voicemail at 281-698-7043.
I'm making 91 fake accounts. Anyway.
Hold on, no. Y'all both yelled at me for making that suggestion.
It was a joke.
When we
and I
were
made
telling
it,
people
obviously,
to go rate and review on iTunes, which you should really go
that's
do
different.
and leave
Yes,
a
you
5-star rating.
Well, you see, obviously when I'm saying it, I'm like Donald J. Trump. And you can tell that I'm being a joke. I'm making a joke. You can tell. Just the way I talk.
We're recording this episode prior to the election, so
Yeah.
who knows what's going to happen.
There may not be a podcast network. I don't know how you're listening to this. Maybe you're listening to it on some kind of weird ham radio or something.
Some
in the future.
ham radio in the dystopian future of
yeah,
Thursday.
Of Thursday. You never know. Maybe we'll release it on Thursday, and then they'll hear it in the future, and they'll be like, "What was the world like?
What if this
Who is
episode
Kevin Smith?
is the last? Like everything like falls apart on Wednesday, and like
And
this
we
is the
talked about
last
Kevin
piece.
Smith.
This is the
I'm
last
fine.
piece of like media that ever gets released.
I'm okay
And
with
it's what
it.
I'm okay with. Yeah,
I'm
I'm
okay
fine
with
with
it.
this. I'm good. I'm good.
I like Kevin Smith.
Okay.
So we're
I don't
good.
know.
We're
What's
good.
what's time? We keep going. I don't even know.
We can talk about the stuff that we watched last.
Okay.
Or do we want to talk
Well,
about Mandalorian?
I think we
Save
should talk
that?
about the Mandalorian. I want to talk about the Mandalorian.
Okay. So we'll cover the first episode of Mandalorian and call it an end for this episode.
Spoilers. I say spoilers.
No.
No spoilers.
It's
It
a-
just came out.
I mean, if
But
you
the,
haven't
but
seen
the
this,
second
if you-
episode will come out the next day.
yeah. Okay. Here's the deal. If you're listening to this
Alright.
right now and you haven't seen the first episode,
Go watch
shame
it.
on you. Shame on
Or
you.
go pause it.
Go
And go
watch
watch it. Go watch it.
Yeah,
It's like
go
45
watch it.
minutes. It's a really good episode. So I will start off with the very first episode of the very first season did not draw me in.
No.
And I felt like both of these episodes show how much of a Western this show
Yes.
is. So the very first episode of the very first season was a very slow Western like story, right?
Yeah.
But then this one
Was also very slow.
was a bit slower, but because there was I appreciated the dialogue and the banter between Pedro Pascal as the Mandalorian and Timothy Oliphant's character, kind of as like two like kind of feuding sheriffs, but they
Yeah.
have to end up working together.
Well, it's like a showdown. You know, the marauder, not a bad guy, right? But
Yeah.
the gunslinger comes into town.
Yes.
The local sheriff, the marshal that's taking care of everything is
Yeah.
like squaring off against him, and they're in a saloon. They're drinking whiskey. It's definitely a western.
Yeah.
And he has Boba Fett's armor.
He has Boba Fett's armor,
Yeah.
which we'll talk about in a second. Cool cameo at the end. I anything Timothy Olyphant is in, I pretty much like it.
Yeah, I like him.
What was the
He's-
Netflix show?
The Santa Clarita Diet.
Yeah, Santa Clarita Diet. That was really funny.
was
It's
hilarious.
unfortunate that it got canceled.
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I never saw that show. I heard it was
It's
good, though.
like it's Timmy Oliphant and
Drew
Drew Barrymore, and
Yeah.
she like dies but comes back as a. I mean,
As
she's a zombie, but she's not like zombie like. But they're
Yeah.
just trying to keep her together, and
and
it's
she craves flesh, right?
Yeah.
Like they
she
need to
craves
feed her.
blood, so they're trying to. So they basically like he'll find bad people, and he's like, "Hey, I killed someone," and put it like, and she's in a cooler, and it's really. I mean, it's just kind of like a funny version of like zombie. It's pretty funny.
It's almost like a romantic comedy
Yeah,
and a funny zombie movie put together.
Oh, but so much language. So
Yeah.
watch out to
Oh,
watch
yeah.
it with your kids.
Yeah.
I know.
But yeah,
so
it got canceled. That was funny.
So Deadwood is what I first got introduced with Timothy Olyphant. I
Okay.
love Deadwood on HBO. You want to talk about language,
Right?
That one was So and then Justified, also very good on AMC, I think
Yep.
it is. He's a good actor, man.
He is.
Solid,
He's
like,
very
good
he's very
character actor.
underrated.
He's
So
very underrated.
I liked going back to Tatooine. Thought
Yes.
that was cool. Seeing that, though, I don't know who the actress is, but played the lady that runs the spaceport.
Amy Sedaris.
Oh yeah, it is Amy Sedaris. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's hilarious, man.
Yeah.
She's so funny. And then just going to hunt down this big. It's interesting because it's like a western, but it's also like a monster hunter show. He's always fighting these monsters and
Yeah.
these like big creatures, and he's got to fight them and try
Yeah.
to figure out how to kill them. The Sand People.
Yeah.
Kind of hanging out with them, and that was interesting. But then let's go. So he destroys that. I don't know if I like that last fight with the sand shark, whatever that thing was, man.
Sand
the Great
dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah.
It was okay. I mean, it was kind of like the low point of the whole episode for me. It was weird that it was like coming out of the mountain and stuff. I was
Yeah.
like, what's going on here? And the way they dove in there and did all that, I was like, okay, that's whatever.
Yeah.
But at the end of it, we see Boba Fett, or at least one of the clones.
Yes. Was that who that was?
Yeah.
You
You didn't realize?
No, maybe it was the television we were watching. It was too dark. But
Yeah,
I
the
know
guy
that there was a
showed-
figure that was kind of standing off in the distance watching them.
Yeah.
So it was
turns around.
It was one of the Boba Fett clones, or
Oh,
the
I don't
Jango
know.
Fett?
I don't know if it's actually Boba Fett
Okay.
or one of the Jango Fett clones. I just
Okay.
know that he's got scars and he turns around and he's not wearing the armor.
Oh, so like maybe one of the clone troopers.
Yeah, or it's Boba Fett
Okay.
I mean, it could be
'Cause-
Boba Fett.
because Boba is a clone of Jango as well.
Yes, that's right.
So it could be
It-
Boba Fett looking at
It
his
is
armor.
Boba Fett because he is in the cast listing.
Okay. Well,
That's
there you
Boba
go.
Fett.
It's
well,
Boba
there you
Fett.
go. Problem solved.
There we go.
Thanks,
It's the
Internet.
actor. It's the actor who played Jango Fett
From the
in-
clone.
From the clone.
Attack
Yeah.
of the Clones. Okay.
Yeah. So it's Boba Fett.
That's really interesting.
That is really cool. I really was excited about that cameo because in the, if anybody doesn't know, the expanded universe, Boba Fett lives.
Yeah.
And does a bunch of, I don't know how he lives. Maybe we'll find out.
And that'll be an interesting part of the story. One of the things I think that the Mandalorian is doing really well, that I don't think they've ever been able to do outside of maybe some of the extended universe books, like the legacy books, is create a world within Star Wars that doesn't need lightsabers.
Yes, although they did introduce one at the end of the season.
They did.
But that's okay. It wasn't integral.
It's not. It's not.
It's like a relic. It's like a relic, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was just an exciting piece, but like the previous the previous like runtime was completely good, and it didn't
Devoid.
require a Jedi necessarily.
Yeah,
Right.
or Jedi, like really Jedi, like Jedi heavy. And so because you look at Solo,
Yes.
a movie that also in even so you have Rogue One and Solo.
Yeah.
Neither one of those really had lightsabers in it
Yeah.
until the end of Rogue One, and they didn't require it,
No.
right? However, Solo's crappy,
Yes.
and
Hot
and
garbage.
Rogue One is amazing.
Yes.
I don't think you need lightsabers for films or for any of these movies
No.
because there's so many other cool things going on. That's where the Mandalorian succeeds, though, is not introducing all that in there
Right.
because it can be away from that saga.
Yeah.
But then bind things together. Like the only reason they brought the Darksaber in is really to bind it to the Clone Wars show.
Yeah.
right? Because that was part of the Clone Wars, and so that's how they're going to potentially bring in Ahsoka. So
And
I
apparently
like
Boba
that.
Fett.
Like, huh?
And
What's that?
apparently Boba
And
Fett.
apparently Boba Fett. Well, I like how they dance in and out of like the stuff we know.
Yes.
Right? They give us glimpses, little things, and that's really cool, as opposed to leaning so heavily on it. You know?
And even when he's talking to at the end of episode 8, when he's talking to the woman that the leader of that group of Mandalorians, I can't remember
The armorer.
The armorer, and he's telling her about Mandalore the Great fighting against the Jedi. And in Star Wars, you think like the Jedi are like, the news about the Jedi are everywhere, right? And you come to find out, like, even at this point, which this still takes place somewhere in between episode 6 and episode 7, I think that
Yes.
even I can't remember the character's name that they gave him, but Mando doesn't even know about Jedi at this point. Like,
Yeah,
in this part of the universe and at this era, it's not like in the prequel era where they're like, "What's a Jedi?" It's like even outside of that, outside of the main saga, like people don't really know who these space wizards are.
Yeah, and that's also what I liked about episode 7, is they were talking real, like it was a
Yeah.
fiction kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that's, but even what you're talking about is not even that they've heard of it; they just never don't know what the heck they're talking
Exactly.
about. Like what? Because it's not. All we think about when we think of Star Wars is Jedi, because
Yeah.
that's all we've seen for all these episodes.
Yeah.
But there's a whole world, universes out there of people that have no idea what the heck is going
Yeah.
on, not involved in it, and actually far more interesting. And they've done that's what they do a good job of doing, making it interesting without the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think Jon Favreau is doing a really good job of carrying the story out. I liked episode 1 of season 2 more than I liked episode 1 of season 1, which doesn't say much, because my problem is always like how the universe is always built around these shows. So obviously, episode 1 of season 2 doesn't have to do that, right? Like it's good. The one critique, and it's also one of the things that I like about this show, so it's a weird balance for me, is you have no idea how much time takes place in between episodes.
That's true. You don't
You
have
have,
an idea.
like-
I don't know how long it's been since he's been there. Even between the individual episodes, they're just doing other things, and there's like, who knows what's going on.
Well,
I kind of like that though.
Yeah, it's good. It's just a little disorienting, because in like, I think episodes 1, 2, and 3 of the first season, like they kind of take place right after each other, and then you get to the part where he leaves Gina Carano's character on that kind of like fishing farm, but then weeks have passed since he came back, and it's like the following episode, or like 2 episodes later. And it's like weeks or months that have passed.
I like that, and it also gives them an opportunity to do other, like, to introduce things and not have to explain them.
Yeah,
which is good.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I'm enjoying it so far. I mean, we're only one episode in to this.
I mean, it's already good, man. It's already got me hyped. Honestly, I'm so excited. They did a really good job last season. I'm super excited. I'm super excited about what I'm really excited about, guys, is what they're gonna do from this success.
Yeah, Holly was a little upset that Ashoka didn't show up in the very beginning of this episode.
Yeah,
I don't think it'll be in the middle. I think it'll be middle of this season.
Yeah,
honestly, but we'll see.
Maybe because they accidentally spoiled it, they're going to be like, you know what, we're going to pull her, and then maybe season 3 you'll get her.
Season 3. Yeah. Oh, that would be messed up, man.
So Jose, sorry, I cut you off for a second there.
No, you're good.
But like you said,
I cut everybody off.
Like you said, how this kind of gets you excited about what they could do outside of like the main saga. I think this helps alleviate some of that pressure, as long as they get the right people to do it. And they probably should get Jon Favreau, throw his name into that list. But, the next saga that they've been talking about ever since the Skywalker saga ended was that it would possibly take place in a different part of the universe that doesn't even know who the Skywalkers are. And I think if they do it right, like this shows that it can be done.
Yeah. I think that would be great. I think that would something that has nothing to do with any of this other stuff. Maybe not even Jedi.
But won't that change when Ahsoka comes on? I mean, that would.
No, he's talking about the next episode.
I'm just saying, like this storyline so far of the Mandalorian isn't heavily relying on who the Skywalkers are,
right?
And like who Darth Vader is or any of that. Like it like the Emperor or anything like I know we're starting to get other characters kind of bleed in with Boba Fett being added and Ahsoka being added, but it doesn't necessarily rely on the Skywalker saga happening.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
I think it may be some Outer Rim kind of stuff, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I just think just tell the story of this cool place where people have spaceships, people use blasters.
Yeah.
They're smuggling in weird stuff, and they've got all these aliens. You got so many races you can work with.
And
It's
at
just
some
so
point,
cool.
you're gonna get Yoda, maybe,
or some other Yoda character.
Well, I mean, that's the end course of this, right? Is to find all the race of Yodas.
No, it's to reunite him with the Jedi.
No, it's to take him to his people.
No.
Take him to his people.
That's not how I understand.
Which are, I mean, they use
His
the
people
Force.
are
so.
the Yodas.
His people are. See that's where I disagree.
Whoa.
I feel like the armorer was telling him you need to reunite him with another Jedi because Mando can't train him. Mando can't nurture him like a Jedi needs to be nurtured. I've never taken that statement as like you need to reunite him with another Yoda creature, which I don't even know what they're called.
They don't have a name.
I feel like that's where Ahsoka's going to come in.
What do you?
Oh, we lost you again.
What
Jose.
do you?
What do you? Who do you think you are? Oh, there we go. Chronicles after him. The Empire is after him. Yoda's people are after him. Everyone's after you today.
Remember when we had 2 perfect episodes where I didn't drop at all, and now I drop like every 30 seconds? Anyway, what do y'all think?
Yeah.
It's going to get stupid at gmail.com. Let us know who you think the armorer is talking about reuniting Baby Yoda with.
Tweet us at IGTDS show.
You can hit us up at facebook.com/it's going to get stupid. Sorry, not Baby Yoda, the child.
Yes.
Baby Yoda.
You can find us on Instagram at It's Going to Get Stupid.
And go to youtube.com and search It's Going to Get Stupid podcast for old episodes.
And leave us a voicemail at 281-698-7043.
He can kill 2
Awesome.
birds with one stone by finding Yoda, because it would be Jedi and his people.
Yoda's already dead.
Yoda's dead.
At this point.
I'm talking
Yoda's
about.
dead.
I'm talking about Ghost Yoda. Force Ghost.
Ghost Yoda is everywhere.
Force Ghost. He needs to find Force
what
Ghost
if,
Yoda.
What if Ghost Yoda appears to him?
That would be cool, and
That
I'd be
we
all
need Ghost Yoda.
all right.
Well,
with that.
okay. I tried to end, but here's the thing: the child is going to die.
No.
Yes,
Shut
100%.
your mouth. Nope. Mm-mm.
Yep.
No.
I'm calling it right now, guys.
No.
2020, November 2020.
Too cute to
November
die.
1st. Gonna die.
He's too cute to die.
He is talking a lot more in this season. Like he's making a lot
And
of
he's- and
lot
he's
more
walking
noises.
around.
Noises.
Yeah.
Wait, how long until you think he says cheeky nuggy? Anyway,
And
It's
Chucky
Chucky
Milk.
Milk.
Chucky Milk. Anyway, thank you all so much, man. If you're a Kevin Smith fan, cool. If not, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened in your childhood, Rick. But
A lot of things.
check out some of his movies. Red State. Definitely, if you have not seen The Mandalorian, please watch The Mandalorian. It is so good.
Yeah.
Even if you're not a Star Wars fan, you'll like it, and if you are a Star Wars fan, you'll also like it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Until next time, please try not to pick sides in the political war that's coming up, because we're gonna have like some kind of civil war, right? So don't pick. Just stay out. Just stay out and listen to our podcast. It's fine.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let this episode get you through the hard times.
Yeah, let it get you through the hard times. Anyway, until next week, thanks for joining us, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.